What are some of the factors that lead couples to come into that space of stagnation?
God never designed marriage to survive. God designed marriage to grow. When a marriage survives, it must die. A marriage cannot stay at a place of stagnation.
So one way we can come out or prevent that whole stagnation survival mode is to always be in the mind space where we are giving 100%. Both partners are giving 100% to the marriage.
For a marriage to grow, a marriage requires also at times pain to grow. Because pain makes me know who I'm with.
Usually when we're, engaged and we're getting into that process, we feel like this is a new slate. This is a new beginning, This is a new line that we're creating.
Marriage is not a clean slate.
Meanwhile, this person is coming with 20 years plus of trauma, of heartache, of habits, of character issues, of personality issues, of spiritual issues. Oh my God, we never talk about the spiritual issues.
You don't marry a person without demons. But you marry someone with demons, and that's the thing we think that when I said I do on that altar, it was a clean slate. So we want now we're going to build our beautiful family together, our loving family together, our new culture together. Oh, glory to God. Whoa. You are marrying pain, stress, trauma, abuse, heartache. Some people even it's generational abuse. The reason as to why you do a thing determines the spirit that the thing will grow with. If I'm getting married, and my core reason to get married is I want to get children. The day I get children, what happens? I check out. I already have children. There are those who just want, I'm tired of being alone. I want when I go to the next family function, I have something that is breathing near me. Can it breathe? Can it talk? Fine. So now when you say I do, after that you check out. You check out because
so immediately you're into survival mode.
Hello, Mrs. Salamba.
Good morning. Good evening. Good afternoon, Mr. Salamba. How are you today?
I'm good. Yes.
I'm happy to be here. As always, it's always a good time and never a dull moment when we're together. So I'm excited for this episode. What are we discussing?
We're going to spend time discussing you.
Oh, that's a fun topic. Go ahead.
We've done a whole series on growth and transitions and all those things. Yeah? Because remember, we have talked about this before, that marriage grows as the couple grows. Marriage grows every day. But there's another flip side which I think that at times you also have to look at, which is, I believe many marriages are there, which is when marriages are on survival mode. And basically you're surviving every day, you're surviving the stages, everything you do in the marriage, you are doing it just to survive. If and the couple are talking to survive, talking to survive basically is the bare minimum required just to survive. You have a couple that is just everything, if they're having sex, the sex is just for survival. The company they keep, the golf functions, whatever they're doing, it's survival. The marriage is not growing anymore, it's surviving. And I believe strongly that a marriage that is surviving has an inevitable path, because God never designed marriage to survive. God designed marriage to grow. When a marriage survives, it must die. A marriage cannot stay at a place of stagnation for long. It must come to a place whereby either it dies or it thrives. And that's what I want us to just look at today, because many people are in that place. People are 30 years in marriage, 40 years in marriage, 15 years in marriage, but they're just surviving.
So what would bring a couple to that stage where they're no longer in the growth curve, they're no longer, looking for exciting things and new ways to nourish the marriage? They're no longer in that space where they're speaking the same language. They're no longer in the space where there's real joy, there's real companionship and friendship within that marriage. What are some of the factors that lead couples to come into that space of stagnation, that space of we're just surviving this season, we're just ticking the box every morning? Oh, you're here, I'm here, we're fine. We may have breakfast together, we may not. It's all okay. We go to work, we come back. the children are fine, everything is just at a plateau. So what kind of factors lead to this? And does it happen 10 years into the marriage, 20 years into the marriage, or are there newlyweds who can come into that season of survival?
I think the fundamental thing we have to look at is something you've said. You've said about we are surviving the season. That's, I think, the biggest issue, because how do we know it's a season? Because our marriage is not broken by an event. Our marriage is broken by lifestyles. That, I think, we are both
Habits, patterns.
Yeah, because when you are trying to save or rescue any marriage, you must be willing to have a discussion with the couple about their lifestyle. You must do a lifestyle audit. The lifestyle audit is everything, because the lifestyle audit captures many things. So as many couples think, and that's the lie that the marriages have, is that we are surviving a season. You know, right now we are busy, we are dedicated, but they forget that over time, that is the lifestyle. That is the pattern. That is what we will be known for, you know. Had a lady in my office last week, she made me laugh. Showed me how she's in a different phase with her husband. It was a very funny discussion. The husband was, you know, she let me know, they're both in their mid-50s. And the lady said something funny. I asked her, so where are you? She said, not. Right now, I'm at a place where I have so much to do. I have so much to do. I'm everywhere. I have so much to do. My husband, on the other hand, he has slowed down now. Now he wants to accompany me everywhere and be with me and sit with me and be with me. Like, I don't want that. And I was like, I don't want that. You know, she said, no, I'm at a place in my life. I don't want to grow old. I don't want to grow old. I'm not old, you know. Me, I'm still young. I'm still enjoying my life. I still want to do my things. I'm still in that phase where I don't want to act like I'm growing old now. I'm not. I'm not. And she was very clear, I am not. I don't want to grow old now. I'm still going to the gym. I'm still living my best life now. I'm going for hikes. I want to travel. I'm doing all these things. But the guy and I is at a place, you know. And we talked about and went back to a season, and they're like, that's the season where we kind of, he was at a season where he's thinking, okay, now we need to, I want now to chill. I was thinking, I'm not in that season. And you're in your own season. So everything comes to a place whereby, as you're saying, do we discuss, how do we discuss that we are here temporarily, you know, and in marriage is there temporary.
I think it's really important to think even within those seasons where you're just not able to do the things that you were able to do when everything was aligned, you know, when the status was quoing. There's real moments in marriage where, you know, things happen in your personal circle, things happen at work, things happen, you know, in your family, like deep things happen, and you're not able to sustain. You know, I'm trying to see the example of this couple. Like, why is he going inwards? Why is he settling in? Why is he looking more into the marriage and looking for like quality moments, you know, with his wife? And the wife is like, me, I'm not really in this season. I'm just going. Why is she looking externally, and why is he looking, you know, inward? And I tend to think that when heavy things happen in marriage, it kind of takes you into that season where you love the person that you're with, and you don't want to, you know, you don't want to walk out on the marriage. You don't want to divorce them. But for some reason, psychologically, physically, emotionally, you're just not in the moment where you can feed the marriage. And I think that's the season that kind of leads into that plateau. But we have to be cognizant that this is not a season that should last, you know, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. We have to come to the point where we're like, okay, I've been through something really difficult. Maybe it's loss of a job, some form of loss, some form of disappointment. You know, you've lost an investment. You're hurting in that season, and you're finding yourself coiling in, for example, with this couple, but your partner is not in the same season as you are. But I think it's really important for us to be cognizant that even though we're going through emotional hurdles, that at the end of the day, the marriage is still there, right? We can allow the, you know, 1 week, 2 week, I don't know, whatever amount of time that you need to process that thing. But then you have to always come out of it at the end of the day and remember that, I'm not alone in this emotional turmoil or financial turmoil or whatever loss that you've experienced, you're not alone. Your partner is also there.
But here's the thing, and I think here's the kicker, because I'm looking at it. I'm hearing what you're saying, but I've always said when you get married to give. That's it. When you get married to receive, then you entered into the wrong transaction. Yeah, because any relationship you get into in life, you enter to give. And when your mind is, I'm entering to give, you begin to ask yourself, am I in a place where I can continue giving? Even when there's nothing to give.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, here's the kicker. I'm saying this here because we're talking about stagnation and survival. Marriage is in survival. And the seasons, we're talking about seasons. And it's a very good word to use because it kind of covers or protects habits and cultures and things that we introduce in that thing. We are in a season, but the problem is that again I go back to the marriage in its own core, is that I'm trying to draw and I'm trying to look at it. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think what is normally relegated in those seasons, and when they're being relegated, is it an open conversation? But we are relegating A, B, C, D, which may be within my control, but I'm choosing to relegate it because I'm in a space where I don't want to, I don't feel like I want to, let me use the good word, I feel like I don't want to give. Yeah, I'm in a place I don't want to give anymore. I just don't want to give. And so when I don't want to give, then I am relying on my partner to give. Yeah. But the nature of marriage is that it's supposed to oscillate. Because remember that if you look at a couple who have gone through, I'll give an example, a tragic example of maybe an illness like cancer comes in.
Yeah.
When an illness like maybe cancer comes in and one of the spouses is unwell, you have one who is giving and they give a lot. But we know from research that over 80% of couples who survive deep, intense cancer scares end up having no marriage. Yeah. At the end of the day, because someone gave, unless they have Jesus, they gave in that season. They gave. They evolved and they evolved, because every time you give, you evolve. Every time you pour yourself out, you evolve. So I pour myself out, I evolve. I pour myself out, I evolve. But we've gone through a season of 1 year or 1.5 years of battling this vicious illness. For 1.5 years, now we are done battling it. I've evolved 1.5 years.
Yeah. But looking at that example, and also the point that you said, it kind of oscillates, right? That those moments when one person in the marriage is able to give, and then maybe in another season it's the other person who's able to give. But then in this cancer example, you know, one partner essentially is not able to give. So would it be the same scenario? Like how can we mend such a marriage in the sense that physically, emotionally, maybe even spiritually, one person is just not able to give into the marriage, right? So the one who has overgiven and overspent, and at the end of the cancer scare, you know, glory to God, the partner is well, the marriage is like, where did we leave the marriage? I've been the caretaker for so long. I've been the caregiver for so long that I don't know how to see you as my partner anymore, right? And you also have been at that position of be even possible.
Because you have to look at...
And then you said that we have to have the mind that we're coming to give. But I also feel like really inside, you're giving, but you're hoping your partner also gives back to you. You're also hoping that you can receive from that marriage. I feel like it's very much a give and take.
That's normally where the gap comes in, because that's why marriage is not for children. because remember, again, I want to go back to one of the people who really shaped a lot of what we see in marriage as is. Now the gentleman said this, that he was seated in the house, the wife was the other side seated, and and you got a prompting from the Lord, just cross over where your wife is, give her a hug. And the wife knew that he's coming to choke her. And she was waiting to be when I headlock,
Hey.
But I found that very profound because that is what it is supposed to be when a marriage is growing. When a marriage is growing, I can walk from where I am to the other place. Remember the day we were talking about something, I told you that everyone is coming from somewhere.
Yeah.
If you can understand where they're coming from, then you'll not be surprised with where they are. But you see the problem we have in marriage, in most marriages, we ignore where someone is coming from.
Yeah.
So because I ignore where you're coming from, I don't want to come to you because I'm ignoring where you're coming from. So where I'm coming from is that I'm sitting and I'm taking something that you are there, and I'm not going to blame you for a bad marriage. I'm not going to blame you for a bad marriage. You see, I will not blame you that things are not working. I will come out from where I am, cross over to where you are, meet you wherever you are, because every day in marriage there's a sacrifice. I'm meeting you where you are because I've seen where you're coming from, and I want to intercept you and meet you there. Now, if I meet you there, you might not receive me.
Yeah.
Because you talked about a couple that maybe, I normally call it the Kana effect in marriage. The Kana effect in marriage when a couple is gotten married in 1 year, or a lot of things happen within 1 year, and the marriage emotionally matures in 1 year, then another level in 1 year. Kana effect is when there's a rapid demand on the emotional capital of that.
At the very early stages.
At a very early, yeah. So it feels like a marriage that has gone 20 years, yet they've just been married for 1 year. But here's the thing. If the marriage did not have history, because that's the danger of when these things happen when the couple is in 1 year. It's the history that defends it. If there's no history, then I am giving, but I'm not also sure, because we never had a marriage in the first place.
Yeah.
I don't remember
Could you ever rely on the courtship years?
You can't really. It depends how the friendship was before. That can anchor a bit. What was there before, the kind of relationship that was there before. But if there's never really that thing that is just unique to the two of you, that you want to fight for, then you will do your duty. And this is the thing that happens. You find that now it comes to a place in marriage. Now I'm no longer doing things because I want to be with you. I'm fulfilling my duty.
Ticking the box.
Yeah, duty can be I pick you and I drop you at work. Duty can be I pay the house. Duty can be you want to go to the salon, here's money for the salon. Duty can be here's the card to go.
So it becomes like a transaction, more of a transaction and less of a heart-to-heart.
There's no heart
friendship thing.
Yeah, it's just duty, I had already said, what? My husband comes to bed, I know every 2-3 days he'll want to have sex. So every 2-3 days I'm already wired. I know he'll want to have sex. We have sex, he finishes his thing, he goes. You hear that word? He finishes his thing.
Scenario,
yeah. So every time, what is she doing? She's doing duty. And it comes to a place now, it became so bad that when the husband wants to sleep and she's not in the mood, the guy says, what is your work?
Wow.
You see? You get? Now they're finally, it's full transaction now. It's full duty. So I think that when I'm able to walk to the other person and believe that, first mindset is I'm here to give.
Yeah.
When I'm here to give and you are here to give, I don't have room to think about what I'm receiving because you have thought that for me. You see? Yeah, you have thought that for me. I have not thought about I'm doing this, what am I getting in return, because you are obsessed by what you're giving. And I'm obsessed by what I'm giving. So I'm no longer thinking about what I'm receiving from you. You are thinking about what you're giving.
Okay. So one way we can come out or prevent that whole stagnation, survival mode, is to always be in the mind space where we are giving 100%. Both partners are giving 100% to the marriage. But what about those newlywed couples who are, like you said, they've gone through so much in a very short time and they don't have a basis, a platform where they can go back and say, I have memory of you holding me when I was falling, I have memory of you being there for me when I was, I have memory of you being the one that has held me through difficult times. If you don't have that, How do you survive? Is it possible for a young couple to enter into survival mode?
It's very possible. Because remember, again, to young couples, tragic events earlier on in marriage are dangerous. They are dangerous. Because I know this, because tragic events, even later on in marriage, still rock the marriage. Because when you get married, we don't get married. First of all, there are two things. We get married with two things. We get married with emotional capital.
Yes, both have like 100.
No, it depends.
Okay.
You can marry someone with two.
Wow. I would like to imagine that you're marrying someone who you love, who you're excited to build a life with. Like, why else would you marry someone?
Because they put the best foot forward. But you never tested the emotional capacity.
Wow.
The day you tested the emotional capacity, you realize the person has two. They have 2 liters, you've come with 1 ton.
Okay,
because
yes,
remember,
I can agree. I can agree with that. Because there's fully grown people who are not able to link into that emotional space. They're just unable to. And they can smile with you, they can laugh with you, but really there's a wall. There's a wall behind that laugh. There's a wall behind their heart, essentially, that they're not able to connect on a heart-to-heart level.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So the person may just not have it, They don't. It is not there. I know. There are people who, no matter how much you look for it, you'll not find that anymore. It'll not be there. There are people who, cannot. Both men and women. There are men and women I know who are not able to.
Yeah.
Not naturally, they cannot be able to hug you. They cannot be able to get to a place to be emotionally vulnerable with you.
Yeah, they're not able to express what they feel.
And even for you to get them to feel that they're understanding you, they can't.
They can't.
They don't get it. Why?
It's possible,
Yeah. So the people who, and I've had some ladies saying, this, and it's not because the person is a narcissist. At times you categorize them as narcissists. No. A narcissist is a person who they're incapable of showing empathy. Yeah. Because, and I believe there's a level that is normally by choice. There's a part that they do know what they're doing.
There's the trauma side.
Yeah.
There's also like, I'm choosing not
to.
to.
They actually choose that level of wickedness. Because a narcissist has the power to choose a level of wickedness. It's a person who, they just don't know how. They don't know when their wife is crying what they do. They just freeze and they look,
It's taking me back to our episode when we talked about avoidant attachment and anxious attachment. I think it also stems from that, like how you grew up, how the emotional space that was in your household when you grew up. If your father was there, if he wasn't, if your mother showed emotion, if she didn't, like, were you abused as a child? Like, there's so many aspects that come into whether or not you have emotional capacity at the stage of marriage.
And very small things.
Yeah.
There are very small things. I'll give a simple example of emotional capital.
Yeah.
A very small thing is when a child cried for long and no one picked them. You get? A child cried almost a whole day. No one came.
Where does that put sleep training? I'm always 50-50 on it. I'm like, okay, I get it. I get the training. So we've digressed a bit.
Yeah.
I get the training. But what message is it sending to the child? I mean, eventually, yes, the mother will come, the child has calmed down, or later in the morning when you've overcried all your tears. It's kind of a 50-50 because I don't know down the line, how does the child interpret that I've been left crying in a dark room for 5 hours and no one came for me?
Yeah. That leaves something in you because you come to a place your mind registers. But when I am vulnerable, there is no one who hears. Wow. Those are the children who grow up who don't say what they feel. And you can be married to a person who does not say what they feel. Remember again, for a marriage to grow, I'll say this in a strange way, I'm not a sadist, but a marriage requires also at times pain to grow.
Yeah.
A marriage requires a level of rawness to grow. If there's no pain, because pain makes me know who I'm with. Yeah. When I shed a tear and I look at you and you look like a vampire, then at a particular point I'm like, I think, let me just sort myself out. But those are things, at the time a marriage needs those things to know. A marriage needs those curves to know. A marriage needs those highs and lows to know who am I with. Does the person have my back? So you can marry to someone who does not tell you anything, and you blame them and you're like, you never talk to me. But because I was left in a room, I cried for a day, no one came. No one normally comes when I call.
Wow.
No one comes when I call. That's how I was raised. No one comes when I call. And so how do I start telling you things? And naturally, no one is there to listen. And this person grew up that, and you find that this normally happens 80%. 80%. This is a thing that hates middle children and firstborns. 80% middle children, 60% firstborns. Lastborns don't go through this.
Why? Why do you say that?
Someone always shows up.
Back to the sleep training thing. It's like you show up at your convenience, you know.
Yeah.
You're crying, but I'm showing up when I've rested enough. But the verdict is still out, because I still feel like there's benefits to it. There's benefits to it because it's eventually when the mother does show up, she's showing up in love. You know, you cuddle the baby knows. Eventually, the baby learns that, okay, when it's dark and I've been put inside the bed, I'm supposed to sleep. Like, I feel like the love of the mother when she finally comes for the child after the child has slept will express to the child that moment when I was away was not to hurt you. That was a moment for you and me to have some independent time for you to rest. Like, there's always the essence behind it. And I feel like children also have that intuition of, oh, okay, my mom is not bad. My mom actually loves me. It's just that.
It depends where the mom is coming from.
Also,
because the mom can come to the room and like, you've been trying, why can't you sleep?
Yeah.
Why can't you
Also,
sleep?
yeah.
Is that part. Then again, look at it again. Some children will never sleep trained and they sleep well.
It's true.
The sleep training does not really
science is always a bit
doesn't really make it in terms of how successful the child becomes in life. So it doesn't really, I don't think it. But you see, that's that part, because I had Eddie Murphy say, my husband is a stone wall, cannot say a thing. You ask him, you have an argument in the house, ask him what is his point of view. He says everything is okay. He says nothing. When I started the man, I asked him a question. I just took him back. I told him, just take me back. I just picked I told him, tell me between 9 and 12 years, what do you remember about your mom?
Yeah. What did you
Tell me something that happened to you in school. A bad thing that happened in school. Told me, at the time in school, I was in school, this boy hit me. Who did you tell? Said, I told no one. You see, as early as 8, he knew not to tell anyone. How did he know? Because that's how he was raised. That his mind registers that when I call, no one comes.
Wow.
When I call, so you might have married someone who knows I deal with my problems. I deal with my issues. And it's a dangerous thing in marriage because it puts marriage in survival mode by default. It's not that it is planned, but I don't know. I think we have gone through this with you as well. But I don't know how to give people my problems. I was not trained that way.
Especially when you perceive in your mind that person cannot help you or cannot resolve that issue.
Yeah. And so you've had my mom complaining, saying that you never say, Victor, you never say. But it's because the wiring that I had when I was growing up was that no one listens. So why do I bother telling you and you're not going to help me anyway? So no one really listens. The time that I wanted someone to listen, there was no one there to listen. So my mind wired that I solve my own issues. I have a problem, I solve it. I have a problem, I solve it. I have a problem, I solve it. Thank God for salvation and Jesus.
Hey.
Jesus has done wonders in my life.
He has done wonders.
I know.
Had it not been for the Lord, we would not be sitting here. We thank God.
Because the Lord taught me a level of, I don't know if He taught me a level of vulnerability. But also, again, He taught me that my tears don't go unheard, which was something different for me because it's new. I know, keep it to yourself and let it be, present. So you may be married to someone who is in that space.
Yeah.
And it's not because of you, because you don't marry a blank. We don't marry blanks.
Yeah, and I think usually when we're, engaged and we're getting into that process, we feel like this is a new slate. This is a new beginning, This is a new line that we're creating.
Marriage is not a clean slate.
Meanwhile, this person is coming with 20 years plus of trauma, of heartache, of habits, of character issues, of personality issues, of spiritual issues. Oh my God, we never talk about the spiritual issues. It's like they just come out within the marriage. So it's never a clean slate.
And that's the illusion. That you're marrying a clean slate.
Yeah.
I'm marrying a clean slate. Now we said I do it's a clean slate. Marriage is a
We begin
fresh
our own
start.
traditions, we begin our own patterns.
No.
In our house we will.
Yeah. So people say, now we need to build our own. Hapa kuna our own kwanza.
Yeah.
You must kill the whole owner. There's an owner there who
We have to excavate into the foundations and really remove.
I saw this video yesterday. It was so fun.
Yeah.
Of a guy doing, I don't know if there's an app, so when you hold it, when you're doing a selfie, something appears. So there's a guy who was doing a selfie thing, then you're doing selfie, then an image appears behind you.
Oh.
And everyone was turning and punching that image and doing all that and hitting it. And when you marry someone, that's what you're dealing with.
Wow.
You're dealing with someone who has something behind their shoulder that follows them. You don't marry a person without demons. I'm not saying demons in terms of evil spirits, but some of them have evil spirits, but that's not the point.
Yeah.
But you marry someone with demons, and that's the thing we think that when I said I do on that altar, it was a clean slate. So we want just to, now we're going to build our beautiful family together, our loving family together, our new culture together. Oh, glory to God.
Hallelujah.
Whoa. You are marrying pain, stress, trauma, abuse, heartache. Some people even it's generational abuse. Generational abuse. Yeah. You may be marrying a man who has gone through, has been abused by his mother. So the father being abused by his grandmother. So the grandfather being abused by the great grandmother. That the men in that family are naturally abused men. That's what you're marrying. You may be marrying a woman who was in a relationship that was so bad, a very abusive relationship with a man who she married the devil himself, who was dating the devil himself. That's what you're marrying.
And it's crazy how when you grew up seeing those things, they show up in your marriage, even unconsciously. Like you see something traumatic happening in your parents or your grandparents' marriage, and you say, I will never, or my grandparent was a alcoholic, I will never touch a drop of alcohol. And then
you marry an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Or you marry someone who makes you an alcoholic.
It just creeps up. It just creeps up in your marriage. And how do you stave off of that? I feel like sometimes in marriage, before we build this thing that we're hoping grows and becomes something amazing for the two of us, I feel like we have to go back and just dig and really say, this is what I went through, and this is and then really try to understand why we are the way we are. Because sometimes we react in ways and we're like, After very many years of us being married, I had to come up to the point where I asked myself, why don't I like to resolve issues when they've just happened, right? Why do I have that stone walling? Why do I have that wall when
Is it a stone?
What do you think? It's a diamond wall.
It's made out of lead. Aluminium. Steel.
Okay.
Okay.
The steel wall. When the steel wall shows up, and I'm just physically, I'm unable to speak. I've just shut down. I'm angry. I'm upset. My emotions are like da da da. And you keep talking. In my mind, I'm like, why won't he just keep quiet and let me process what I'm processing? And then later on, come back and be like, okay. So I had to sit down with myself and be like, okay, where does this come from? And these are the things that make us the people that we are in the marriage, that totally irk our partners. So even as we're coming into that space, even as we're in the marriage, we really need to look back and see what the foundations are like and really dig and say, oh, I went through this, or this is how I view marriage because of ABCD. And oftentimes you don't even know why. So it's like a process, and it never ends, of discovering yourself and trying to understand why you are the way you are. And when you get those things, I think it just changes the marriage.
I think what you said is very powerful, because we're talking about, of course, keeping the marriage on survival mode.
Yeah.
And survival mode marriages are basically what I call consumer based marriages, whereby it is my partner's fault. It is easier for me to blame my partner. As you said right now, it's easier for me to blame my partner. Why are they, what you just said right now, for example, just giving it as an example, why can't this person keep quiet?
Yeah.
Not, why am I struggling in this moment? What is it about me? You know, it's you who does not take me on a date.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Or it's you who does not do this. It's you who doesn't call me. You know, if you ever have those relatives who call and tell you, why don't you normally call me? And I mean, you have a phone, call me also, you know. So, yeah. So,
I never get
I never get, you know, why don't you call me? I mean, you call, teach me how to call you. Maybe I don't know how to dial. Teach me how to call you. Yeah. So you see, but there's something which is very, very critical to look at, is that whenever I ask a couple this in my office, and I'll tell you, and I think we've said this before, the way we communicate in our marriage, all through the years, I told you, I think we were talking once, and you said that the way you by default respond whenever we are talking. I've had the privilege of sitting sitting in the same, of course, company with your parents, you know, and I saw the way your mom and your dad communicate, and I saw that is how, in your raw state, that's how we now speak. Then there is how my dad, you never had the privilege to see my dad and my mom in the same space for long. Yeah, because I mean, my dad fell sick, then he rested. But again, there's the parts of the jokes and everything. There's a way that, again, I communicate the way I saw my dad communicate. But here's a kicker that people miss. Whenever you ask a couple, tell me about the marriage of your parents, you'll always hear, my dad and my mom were a very loving couple. They were a normal couple. You always hear that. But you look at the person, there's a dysfunction. So where did this very good couple end up creating this dysfunction? Where God says, planted you a noble vine. How did you become a degenerate tree? Yeah. So you look at a person and you find a person has a problem to communicate, has a problem with forgiving, has a problem with emotional capacity, has a problem with emotional intelligence. You see gaps. They have got triggers of rejection, triggers of all these things. How this happened, yet you looked at your parents and you saw that your parents were okay. It is because you are looking at what you saw. You should look at what you did not see. Because it is the subconscious conversation, the subconscious innuendos. That is what impacts you. Because human beings, we are influenced soul to soul, not flesh to flesh.
Now you're taking it another level. Now we're like,
we connect soul to soul. We don't connect flesh to flesh. So soul to soul is what? Soul to soul is the silent things that I picked out with my mother, but connected with my soul. That's what I should look at.
You read it in the atmosphere.
You read what you read.
You know, I kind of see it sometimes in our children, like when we're having a heated, not really a heated discussion, but we're having a back and forth. And I just see how they, how they lean into the conversation. It's like they're not there, but they're there. And when you said that, I was just like, hey. I can be laughing with you, but it's registering something in their soul that, okay, they're not agreeing on something, and one of them is approaching it this way and the other one is approaching it this way. And it's like leaving these notes in their minds, in their soul, in their memory.
Their soul. So when they are approaching a matter, they are approaching a matter based on what their soul received. So you see, now I'm looking at marriage and I'm looking at it from a point of how my soul picked out the relationship between my father and my mom. Did I pick out that they were having banter? Or did I pick out that one person was choosing to be, did I pick out one person was being undermined and the other one was refusing to be undermined? But in my childish mind, I read like it is Nini. It's back and forth. They're having a back and forth. They're having banter. But no, this person is actually what? Because the soul picks the truth. Remember, the soul always speaks the truth. Whenever you're dating someone, the soul picks the truth.
Yeah.
That is why you know, Apana, this is not right.
Yeah.
Your soul always speaks out the truth. That's why you said this a few weeks ago, the other show we had the week, you said that a child is, when a mother is tense,
Yeah.
the child doesn't sleep. The mother, the conscious mind of the mother wants the child to sleep. That's what the mother is saying, I want you to sleep.
Yeah.
But her soul is saying, you little, someone said, you little,
A blessing of mine.
you are provoking, because as the child is speaking, you're not being genuine.
Yeah.
You don't want me to sleep.
Yeah. The child is picking up the frustration, the tension, the fatigue, the anger,
And you see at that point, the
rage,
mother is
the depression.
Okay.
That's for another show.
Okay.
Postpartum.
Okay. So the child is speaking this,
Yeah.
that mom, you're not being genuine. You don't want me to sleep because it's good for me.
Yeah.
You want me to sleep because it's good for you.
Yeah.
The child is reading the selfishness.
Wow.
Now, because what the child do? The child steps in their own selfishness. Like, then I'm not going to sleep. Yeah. You want to get rid of me?
Yeah.
You want to get rid of me?
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So you find that, we look at all those things. I'm saying that because I never saw my mom and my dad argue. That I never saw. But my mom and my dad never agreed on very many things. Extremely very many things. But my father was a guy who believed in what? He has a problem, solve it. As a man, go deal with your issues. Solve it. That's it. When I'm married, the first thing I struggle with is what? Is how do I share a burden with you? Yeah. My natural default setting is what?
To resolve it.
Solve it the way you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, get out there, fix it. Go out there, fix it. I don't know. We've had times when I've had to struggle to tell you, by the way, this is the problem and I need this kind of help. And I've struggled because I never saw my father do that.
Yeah.
But did I see them joking?
Yeah.
I saw them joke. I saw my dad cracking jokes with my mom. They had very good jokes. My father was a man who loved sense of humor. He'd crack a joke. My mom would laugh at the joke. What? If you ask me, I tell you what, my parents loved joking. But no. My father was very poor in coming to say, I need help. My father never knew how to ask help.
Yeah.
I never saw my father with friends. Never saw him surrounded by men who came to the house and what. My father never lived that way. Never had close friends around him. Never was a man who used to go hang out with friends or anything. I never saw that with my dad. I never saw the boys. I never saw my dad with the boys. That I never saw. I have no memory of that whatsoever. Do you have that memory of me? Since you got married?
Yeah. Not really, but I mean, I've had the privilege of hanging around you and your friends, so I'm not entirely deprived of that. But there's something you said that was quite interesting, and I remember like seeing it come up in our marriage, where we're trying to work on something together, and it's like we're not able to work on it together because there's a certain thing that you've already decided you want, and then I'm coming in with all these new ideas, and then we're just not able to meet on the same table. I don't know if you remember this, like through our marriage. Like, we're trying to come up with a concept. We're trying to come up with, I think, the Constitution of Awakening Minds. I can't remember, but I remember going like, okay, we're going to do this together. How are we going to agree? And I remember because I always felt as though you had the thing already planned out in your head, and you did not leave space to have another voice saying, okay, maybe we should look at it this way. And I think we've come leaps and bounds away.
Jesus. Oh, Jesus.
Thank God for Jesus. Thank God for God. Because otherwise, I don't know how we'd have come to this space. So I see that. I see the influence that your background and how you grew up comes and shows up in our marriage. So that's really interesting, and seeing the growth that has come out of that. And it's growth that just can't happen out of your will. You can't force yourself to change a certain thing in your personality that you don't even know where it's coming from. I think it's really where that divine help, that, the strength of God, literally his spirit and his grace, is what brings you out into new levels. So I thank God for that. Yeah.
Because what you're saying is, as you say, it's a subconscious influence, but we tend to forego, and that is what makes us enter a marriage with a level of emotional capacity, emotional wisdom, emotional intelligence, emotional ability, and emotional capital. All that is not something that the marriage self-generates. It is something the marriage began with. I began with the low capital.
Yeah.
I began with low capital, or I'm very selfish with my capital. I don't want to invest at all. I'm not coming to spend whatever I have. Nothing. Again, all these things come to step, and they see something else we never discussed also, which makes a marriage not grow. Is that we never talk about this a lot, but the impact of a strong parent. Because a strong parent is good to a child but bad for a marriage. A strong parent is good for a child but bad for an adult. That's something that you never look at. And whenever you hear someone saying that their father was very strong, and their father was very available, or their mother was very strong and very available, there's always a crippling effect that follows. Always a crippling effect.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it depends how it manifests, because at the end of the day, I'd rather have a strong parent than one who's not able to, move things and shift things. I kind of feel like it also depends how it registers in the child. Does it make the child overly, dominant because they saw their parents being dominant? Or does it give the child strength to make decisions and be self-confident that whatever decision I've made, that's the way we should go? I kind of feel like it's a two-edged sword. Like, it could work for the marriage, also depending on the gender. There's so many variables. But we say all this to say that, there's no right way.
There's never a right
whatever
way.
kind of setting that you grew up in, even though it's like it's all flowers, there's no trauma, there's no abuse, there's still something that you pick that's not entirely good for you, that leaks into your marriage.
Yeah, because remember that you might be there. I'm looking for a good word because I can see it in my head. My father may have grown up being abused, or my mother may have been abused, and my mother being abused as a child, gets married, gets children, and my mother decides to shield these children because of the abuse she went through. What is happening is that the children are not being shielded because of my mother's strength. They are being shielded because of my mother's scars.
A fear.
Yeah. Now, what is transferred is the scar, not the shielding. Because that is always the truth that follows you.
Wow.
It's always the truth that follows you. The reason as to why you do a thing determines the spirit that the thing will grow with. That is always it. That is why you see that whenever we get married, I'm getting married to say, if I'm getting married, and my core reason to get married is I want to get children. That's my core reason. That's the truth. The day I get children, what happens? I check out. I already have children. Because again, you have to look at marriages, the people who check out. There are those who just want, I'm tired of being alone. I want, when I go to the next family function, I have something that is breathing near me. Can it breathe? Can it talk? Fine.
So you don't look beyond the, okay, I
Yeah.
have someone.
No.
Now what?
It's, yeah. So now when you say I do, after that you check out. You check out because
So immediately you're into survival mode.
you ended, you
Into ticking the boxes.
you've checked out now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've actually gone. As you see, there are people who say, we got married, my partner was there. The moment I gave birth to a son, the guy checked out. I know of a lady who, the moment she gave birth, first daughter, the guy was there. Second, she gave birth to a boy like this, the guy checked out.
Done.
He wanted the boy all through. Checked out. Like, he can take the kids for a holiday and leave her. Yeah. Because that's what he wanted. So the truth always sustains the spirit why something is there. A marriage only grows and continues to grow when the couple decided from the very beginning that, you know what, we are coming first. And we are willing to do the dirty work to make this thing work.
Yeah.
That one we're willing to do.
And it should never be motivated by fear or your scars or your trauma, because that always speaks into the marriage.
It always speaks into the marriage. Statistics show a very funny thing. I'll tell you a very funny thing. And let me talk about something that Christians would like talking about: sex. So that couples who have sex because they are afraid their partners would cheat. Yeah, the partners end up cheating. You get?
Yeah.
But couples who invest in their sex life because it is part of the marriage don't have that problem. So you see, at the end of the day, the reason why the spirit behind a thing always comes. I've always said that
It's interesting.
Yeah, if at all we don't, I know you don't like me saying this, but I'll say it anyway. If we save for a rainy day, the rainy day will come and take the savings. Yeah. So the spirit behind something will always cover it. What you have to look at is
what I feared has
come. Yeah, what I feared has come. So I must be cognizant that I have to eliminate those fears. I have to eliminate those fears. When I fear in a marriage that I'm not good enough, then I end up not being good enough because I exude not being good enough.
Wow. Unconsciously.
Unconsciously.
Just walk around the house leaking of I'm not good enough. Oh my God.
I'm not good enough in frying onions.
Oh.
Not good enough in making the bed.
Wow.
I'm not good enough. It always, that which always comes. And all these things are stemming from before. Remember, we don't marry a blank slate. And that's what a couple should look at. What did you marry? You didn't marry a blank slate. And marriage is not magic.
Yeah.
No, when I say, by the power vested in me by the state and of brother, husband and wife, then marriage is not dead, is not deliverance. It is not healing and deliverance. Marriage is reinforcing.
Yeah, it's not a switch that goes on and it's on forever.
No.
Until you die.
It's reinforcing altars, covenants.
Wow.
That's what marriage is.
Yeah.
They come together and they get reinforced. That's what that's what it is. But the day that I stopped looking at my fault, I stopped looking at your fault, I began to look at my fault. It changes.
Yeah. I also remember something that you like to say a lot, that we marry our own dysfunctions. So wherever we are, whoever we are marrying, we must always be aware that we have something in us that is not really working well. And it's that thing that has linked us with that person because they have it also. And that kind of opens your eyes to, okay, let's talk. Let's see where it is we're really connecting. You know, we say opposites attract, but also there's that similarity that we're not seeing at face value.
Our opposites attract in Millicent Boons and Bolt and the Beautiful.
Yeah.
In real life, they don't.
They don't.
Yeah.
So there's this thing that is similar in me that it's also that just fits together. And we need to find out what that is and whether it's good for our marriage or whether it's destroying us. And I think that's a good place to start in the conversation. Like, why am I really attracted to you? What is it in you that is matching with the scars and the traumas in my life?
Yeah, I like to say, where are you bleeding? But I'm bleeding also. What is broken in you that makes me feel safe? Because we are drawn because we feel safe. We are a kindred spirit. I feel safe in my brokenness because somehow I can see your scar. In a way, I can identify with your scar, so I don't feel judged with my scar.
Yeah, and it's not a scar that you're seeing even.
That's
like
a
it's
weird
so
thing,
it's amazing.
Yeah, so you don't see it, but because I'll ask you something.
Yeah.
And it's an off the cuff question, but I'll ask you this. You talked about. Let me give an example. Maybe when you are dealing with a matter. What? Let's say we're having a discussion, having an argument or whatever, and you're getting angry and getting angry and getting angry and getting angry. What at that point do you normally think of? That is making you more angry, that you think if he would just do this, it will be okay.
I think it depends what the issue is. Sometimes I feel like if I've brought the issue that there's a problem and I feel like I'm wronged, I would prefer for you to just apologize and not explain, give me like a whole theory, a whole thesis why you did the thing that you did and you didn't know that it would impact me the way it did and That's what I prefer. Just an apology.
An apology. Good.
An acknowledgement that, I stepped on the red wire.
Good. Good. We're not editing this.
We're not.
Now.
Thank you.
Now, here's my
Why
point.
do I feel like I'm being trapped?
Yeah, it's a trap, it's a trap. You've walked right into it. Because what annoys you in a marriage about the other person not doing is the thing that actually you ought to be doing. What annoys us is what we fail to do ourselves. And why we get annoyed is because we feel the other person is not doing it.
Yeah.
Yet in truth, we were the ones who could have done it first. So you find that, for example, if you are annoyed that maybe if he just apologizes, if you take time and look back, you realize that at times all you need is just an apology. You take time and ask yourself, are you quick to apologize? You see the trap. You see the trap.
Which trap? Sorry, was there a trap involved in this conversation? Was there a trap involved in this? Why are shots being fired? Who are they aiming at us or what?
Calm down. So, one thing that I came to realize the thing that I desire the most from the marriage that I think you should be doing is actually the thing that I should do. But because of our dysfunction, we are wired to always blame the other person. It is you who is the problem. I've told you I've done before marriage counseling where you have if you talk about before you came to the court, you say something great can have happened in the marriage, something big that makes the marriage begin to screw. So right, then I say something big can have happened, but also you may have done something that triggered the big thing. So whenever you're dealing with a couple in any matter with a couple, you have this issue, tell them come together. Like I had in the office last week, we were talking about a very deep discussion. So we don't want. I told him, he came to see me in 2019 before. I told him, this matter will come back again. Come with your wife. We address this thing because it will come back again. He told the wife, I told him, you go sort your issues. It is you who made the mistake. And he came and told him, this will come back again. He came to my office 6 years later, it actually came back now and it's a walking, talking, breathing thing. I don't know how to do it now. And doing again, same thing. Your wife suddenly believed that. It is your problem to fix. But she should have come and said, okay, how did I get here? What did I do? So you find that when you hear someone complaining that the partner is unromantic, you find that both of them in the marriage are in need of romance. And because the lack of romance is bothering this person, it means then it's the thing they struggle with. So I want you to carry the burden of the romance because I don't know how to be romantic, or I'm afraid if I choose to be romantic, you may reject me. If I choose to be romantic, you may reject me. If I choose to do these things, if I approach you or make a sexual advance to you, you will reject me. So I'd rather ask you, why aren't you sleeping with me? You get? Yet into this, I am afraid I have something that is inside. So more often than not, you find that 99% of the things that I know in marriage are the things that you should be taking, are the things that you should be taking initiative on. We always get angry on the things that we need, but we're struggling to give because you have a deficiency in this.
It's a high level of projection.
So, and I think whenever we're talking about stagnating marriage is stagnating because the other person is blaming the other person because of what they want them to do, not because of what they should have done. I should have picked up the phone and called you and said, by the way, I'm sorry for what I'm doing. But what am I doing? Why don't you normally apologize? Why am I the one who's supposed to make peace? I'm the one who's supposed to make peace. Why can't you be the one to make peace? You have to come back home. I should have actually walked across, and go to this person. Like, no, I'm willing to do this.
But I also feel like sometimes you're the peacemaker. You've done it for so many years. You've done it for so many times. You've gone through so many storms, and you're always the one reaching out. You're giving. You're depleted, right? Then you come to a place where you're in survival mode and you're no longer able to give You're no longer able to reach out to your partner as you did before. So what happens? Because now I'm deficient, yes, I should reach out, but I've been doing it for so long. Like my emotional capacity is minus 5,000. And this other person, over the course of the whole marriage, has not come to the point where they're like, okay, I've received so much, I've received so many olive branches from my partner. Why don't I give one? I think there's certain scenarios where that comes, and then you end up in that survival mode.
Because again, we have not gone back to. I married someone to accident.
Yeah.
Yes. And the person I married may have come from a place. I'll give an example. Their marriages are people to solve issues, but they need to solve. You see, I may be sitting there thinking, you're the one who made us all this mess.
Yeah.
You are thinking, by the way, we have a misunderstanding because you chose not to understand.
Yeah.
You know, or I was raised in a way that I mean, if something is wrong or something happened bad.
Yeah, the person who caused the issue, clean up the mess.
Clean up the mess. Yeah, you clean up the mess. And you see, and you can sit in a discussion and you actually feel very that I have aggrieved you.
Yeah.
And you're waiting for me to come and give the olive branch. And me, I'm sitting, I'm like, by the way, here.
I've given too many.
I'm not even a movie, but in fact, you're in a relationship. You are okay, you are having fun, there's a market, it's used discussion, you're the one who began this thing. And also remember that what causes, and this is the biggest scar we have in African families, except for one having an African
So you know a few things.
Yeah. The biggest thing that all of us battle for, especially in the way if you are raised tiny, and look at myself, and I like giving my own example. I believe this is the best example to give. Is that one thing that frustrates me is, I've told before, but one of my biggest triggers is normally that when I feel misunderstood, when I feel that someone is not taking time to understand that I am not an empty shell. I didn't end up there by mistake. There's been a thought process that I ended up there. And when you've grown up that way, for example, I'll give an example of, I said that story. I grew up knowing that no one listens. So my biggest adjustments in marriage was to believe and know that you listen. To rewire myself and believe that you listen. Even when you know. To rewire myself that you
Most
listen.
of the time I'm listening.
That's another show. Another show about that. So you find that whenever I'm in that place, because because of that now, you find that I have one of my sisters who I was close to for a very long time. And why I was close to my sister, because my sister used to listen to my stories. Listen to my stories, my mom, all of my madness things. She was the one who listened. When the whole family could not listen to me, she used to listen. She used to listen. She used to listen. So when you are wired that way, the first thing you want is to be understood. Now, whenever anyone has a scar of rejection, has a scar of trauma, has a scar of whatever, people have their own ways how they want to connect.
Yeah.
And some people want to connect by feeling understood. So when they feel misunderstood, they fire. So you find that you can have conflict with someone, you bring the old branch, but they're feeling you bring the old, but you still don't understand what happened.
Yeah.
But again, I was not trained to say, someone going to tell you that you didn't understand me, but you didn't understand me. Now there you are in a mess because you're in a rebel. You don't know what you are picking or what. So you might be looking at it from your eyes that from where I'm sitting, I feel I'm doing a lot of the olive branching. And the person is saying, from where I'm sitting, you are not understanding me at all. If you understood me, you would not be here. But now, I'm not even telling you because I have no emotional capital. Go for that. Yeah. So that's like a weird thing whereby before a couple says we are doing, what is the olive branch? You're bringing the olive branch. Let's go back a bit. Let's try not to judge each other. But let me also understand how do you approach conflict and why do you approach this way? Why do you normally in a quick to say, okay, it's okay, you need to malisa. People who say this how in Asia, no.
There's a conclusion that
you've
drawn or you are drawing. It's never just okay.
You're not buying fast food, let's agree to disagree. This is marriage, it's life. Where do we meet at the table? How do I take time to learn in this particular part? We're very different in how we deal with things. Very, very different.
I like that when you're talking about wanting to be understood and to be heard. I see that in our children as well. They're very expressive. And when they express themselves and for one reason or another you're not understanding, they'll always bring you back into, but mom, you're not listening. You know, mom, you're not understanding me. It's because of ABCD. So I've seen that, and it's helped me understand why they're so passionate about being understood. That this is actually what happened, and what you're saying or perceiving about the situation is not actually what. It's like a cry of, be on my side. You know, see it how I see it. So thank you for sharing that. It's quite well moved.
Yeah. And I don't know, I mean, as you come to a close, just, of course, looking at the entire journey, everyone, you're married to someone, everyone wants to be understood in their own way. They want to be understood. There are those who will break a chair to be understood. There are those who will keep quiet to be understood. Everyone wants to be understood. Because you always feel safe when you're understood. You always run back to you're understood. I look at our journey, which is about the kids as well, is that you always see that desire, and even when they feel misunderstood, it hurts. You see them, they cry because
they have not been heard.
Yeah, you didn't hear me say, you know, I was trying to give a point, no one got it. And you see, when you don't feel understood, then even the small gestures, you buy flowers. Yeah. Why did I buy you flowers? You see, you might not want flowers, but there's a reason why I bought flowers. You may not want chocolate, but the reason why I bought you chocolate. Okay. So I may not want, you might do something I might not have wanted it, but I must look at where you come with it.
Yeah. Are
you making a gesture to bring us closer? Understanding is key. When you understand, you start being more deliberate to invest. You become more deliberate to invest. You stop staying on us. Yeah.
Thank you for that. I think it's been a really good show, as usual. Thank you for joining us on set. I hope that you have a wonderful day ahead. Join us again next week for another exciting show. This has been Marriage Kindergarten. My name is Salamba.
And I'm Victor Salamba.
And join us next time. Marriage Kindergarten, the ABCs of making it work. See you next time.